There's some groups concerned about stricter lockdown regulations, in particular closing down sectors that are only now beginning to recover. It's after the 28-day hard lockdown affected the country last year. The president will be speaking to the nation at 8 o'clock from the Union Buildings. Newzroom Afrika's Pelani Phakgadi is there for us. Pelani, of course, as always, the briefings and the content thereof are always a badly kept secret. So let's talk about expectations then going into tonight.
Well, definitely, I can tell you that a lot of businesses are going to be expecting that at least that the president comes through to really ensure that they are not badly affected. So it is no secret, really, that the effects of the lockdown in its entirety has affected everyone in the country, Kathy. Jobs have been lost. The proof of that is that there are fewer million jobs than those last year, just before the lockdown in March. So companies have closed down, prices of basic utensils have increased. So whatever decision that the president will be taking today and announcing will have to have all those factors at the back of mind, Kathy. However, there is and has been a debate around saving lives and or saving livelihoods. So what many South Africans will be expecting from the President Ramaphosa today really is more details around the rollout of the vaccines, with the EFF having called for clear paths on addressing vaccination shortages in the country. The president will shed some light really on what recommendations have come out of the NCCC meeting this afternoon when he met the committee, and make pronouncement, Kathy, on how Gauteng should be dealt with, seeing that it accounts to over 63% of the positive COVID positive cases. But of course, all that will also bottle down to compliance. Are South Africans compliant? He has urged a lot of times and saying that we know the measures to keep the numbers down, but really have we been complying as South Africans? So we are really expecting him to continue giving those urgencies as he begins to say fellow South Africans.
Pelani, it's one thing for government to want compliance, yet on the other hand, we know that they have not necessarily been doing and meeting their end of the stick. What do I mean by that? Just last week, we had the co-chair of the Ministerial Advisory Committee on the show say that they had advised government in March already to start putting plans in place for a third wave. And there are big questions as to whether that has even happened to the extent that was advised by the experts.
Well, we're not even going that far, Kathy. Let's just talk about yesterday. The former president, Thabo Mbeki, was giving a speech at the Walter Sisulu Memorial Lecture, and he was saying that as far as he understands, business in South Africa has come out to say that they have been talking about how government and the private sector should come to work together in dealing with the positive cases and also returning the business side and ensuring that the economy really does not suffer. But South African government really has been apparently very slow in ensuring that there is, plans in place that will be implemented. And coming down now to how the health department would have come to ensure that there is plans in place to avoid the third wave. And there has been a lot of complaints from the sector. Of course, you can, as you've already rightfully put it, that there are groups that says we have been willing to help, and we've been talking to government and really saying these are some of the measures that you can put, but government has been very slow in the implementation process, and that has really put South Africa at the back end. We've seen in the vaccine rollout, the vaccines came out, some of them 2 weeks before their expiry date, and of course now shortages coming forward, and with other political parties and groups coming forward to say that the vaccine rollout strategy is really stringent and it should be tightened so that we understand that there is a full cover of all sorts of vaccination that may be available in the world, and they should be accepted by regulatory authorities here in the country.
From the seat of government then with Pelani Phakgadi, rather, let me take you to some of our reporters who've been engaging with residents throughout the day. Dumalo Mtlaudi, senior reporter here at Newzroom Afrika. Let me bring you in here. Give us a sense in terms of the sentiment that has been expressed. Again, by and large, if we look at the reportage across the newspapers today, a good indication of what the president is set to announce.
Yes, indeed, Kathy. And even for those who have turned out to very popular night spots, I'm out here in Pimville in Soweto, and I don't know if you could see anything, but I want to step out of shot. You could see that the lights are on, and the people have come out possibly to enjoy their last night at this venue for a while, if the speculation is correct that President Cyril Ramaphosa will then again announce stricter COVID-19 measures. When I tried to approach some people, many didn't want to speak. The security guards here were courteous enough to say that they are concerned for their jobs and put their hands on their head and said, what do we do now? I approached the management here to try to get a sense about what this means for them as a business. They had courteously declined to be interviewed on camera, hence why we are outside while everyone seems to be having a good time in, which is quite worrying in itself. But I must say that the institution here, or the business rather, has enforced mask wearing, and people are sanitized when they go in. But this may be the last time, if speculation is correct, that people will be able to do this. But the fact that people are still willing to risk their lives despite what is going on with this pandemic is of great concern, Katie.
Absolutely. And the worry is whether or not there is an acknowledgement of where we are, where COVID-19 is concerned in this country, most especially in this province right now. We're sitting with Gauteng running out of hospital beds, a variant of this virus that is said to be more transmissible than the dominant virus that was previously recorded in this country. Ahmed Kaji, let me bring you in here. What is the sense that you're getting from residents that you've been talking to?
Good evening, Kathy. It's mixed reactions at the moment from many residents out here in Maboneng precinct. Having spoken to a few of them, many are saying that perhaps a harder lockdown needs to take place, that perhaps curfew times need to be dropped. As we know, the president will be speaking in the next couple of hours. Restaurant owners, on the other hand, are actually coming across, just speaking towards the fact that they would actually welcome some, perhaps an increase in restrictions, but understanding that from their point of view, having a closure of restaurants or a reduction on the alcohol usage will have an impact on their bottom line and their profits, and at the end of the day, their businesses as an entirety. So on that front, restaurant owners may have major concerns from their side on exactly what will be taking place. So actually standing by with me at the moment is Mpedrulo Ndlovu. He's actually the manager of one of the restaurants here in the area. Mpedrulo, I'm going to bring you in very briefly. Can you maybe just take us through what you're expecting this evening, and what would a closure of restaurants mean for you?
Would you repeat that again? It's quite loud here.
Can you maybe just take us through what you are expecting the president to tell us this evening, and then how would a closure on restaurants actually affect your business?
Yes, actually I work in the industry, so I think if the president is going to close the country today, that's going to be a huge problem, because we've experienced that before, and for 6 months we didn't have anything to do. We're just staying home. So what I'm saying and what I'm expecting from the president is, at least since the curfew is at 10 o'clock, so can he at least maybe reduce it to 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock? At least he has to keep our jobs safe. Since I'm working in the industry, there's no way I'm going to be having any money to feed my kids as a family man. So I'm expecting him to at least think for those who are working in the liquor industry, and also consider our families as well. Because right now, we're going to be starving, and what else is going to happen? We're going to be out there on the streets trying to make a living. How? We're going to be doing things that are not going to be right in the society. So we are really expecting him to come and be on our side as well.
Thanks very much. Perfect. Thanks very much, Mpedrulo. We really do appreciate it. As you can see, Kathy, on that front, it's a busy night out here in Maboneng precinct. I think in many ways what we would be thinking is that if you were to come in right now, you'd think it would be the 1st of February 2020 before the coronavirus hit South African shores on that front. But back to you, Kathy, and back to the team down in Cape Town as well.
All right. So from